It's Monday again. That day of the week where your coffee becomes your courage and your meetings become your therapy, is it not? But today is a little different because I am also here with you with our brand new episode of the Monday Hangover Show, a show with unfiltered conversations from the middle of the workplace madness. But I'm not here alone. I am here with two more of my friends. Because what is Monday without friends? And so, can we let's just welcome them before we even begin our conversations? So, let's put our hands together for my friends Saurabh and Mithil on screen as we dig into the conversations. Welcome, Saurabh, and welcome, Mithil.
Whew, finally we are here.
Oh,
Finally.
finally. Thank
Yep.
you, Esther.
Yes, thank you, Esther, and thank you, Saurabh, for taking out your valuable time and not joining from iPad, thankfully.
I'm
And on a
joining from
Monday.
my Monday.
So let me both. How's your Monday energy?
Oh, pretty fluctuating. Sometimes a hangover, sometimes energetic.
My
Okay.
Mondays usually go on caffeine, and that keeps me trying my best to finally get a tick that the Monday is done. So that's the flow that I usually follow it, because Monday is something where most of the coaching clients, most of the agency clients, they wake up and say, "Hey, I need to have this," and the pressure starts.
So I'm guessing that's a typical leadership day, is it not?
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Exactly. The deadlines, the decisions, and the denial, the holy trinity with three of us.
And all wearing white.
And
All
we're all
wearing
very
white.
right. And that's exactly that's what we are here for, isn't it? To make sense of this madness with some real talk and laughter. But we are not doing this alone. We have a special guest with us. And I'm not very sure who he is, but my friend Saurabh knows about it. So, Saurabh, tell us, who do we have with us today?
Yes, absolutely. Let's have some amazing conversation with my friend Aditya Adyar. But let me introduce him to you all before we bring him on the stage. Here we are going to have our guest today, Aditya Adyar, who is currently the HR head for Piramal Realty and Piramal Wholesale Finance, where Piramal Realty specializes in building world-class homes in Mumbai, and Piramal Wholesale Finance focuses on finance lending. But before, Aditya has been with Piramal for 13 years. But before Piramal, Aditya was served as a chief people's officer for Faso's Rebel Foods and was identified as an emerging HR leader by People Matters in 2016. He's also an alumnus of Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, and started his career with ICICI Bank and also my batchmate. So please welcome Aditya Adyar.
Thank you, Saurabh. Good introduction, lovely introduction. Esther, Mithil, hello. And lovely to see great energy. I think that camaraderie between all three of you is there for us to see. Yeah, and I am also having my caffeine fix on Monday.
Thank you so much, Aditya. In fact, the introduction that Saurav said, I immediately got to know that from the three basic things, the roti, kapda, and makan, two have you have already taken care of, the fasos as well as the house.
True. Yeah, only the kapra is missing, I guess.
Don't tell it to your current company.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, Aditya, welcome. Welcome to our podcast. And you're already seeing we're laughing and having this conversation. And we want to keep this banter. But in doing so, we also want to know you because you are an accomplished leader And you've had a lot of Mondays in so many years. And we want to know a little bit from that. And so, if I can begin by asking you, Aditya, what does your typical Monday morning look like? Is it like just the caffeine, chaos, or calm? Or is it some other hidden mantra with which you deal with it?
I think caffeine, chaos, and calm. That's a great way to put it. But I would
Okay.
also say it's chaotic, unpredictable, but yet somehow productive because you want to look at the week forward, how are things together. I think Mithil was saying earlier that Mithil, with his own clients coming through and asking him and then putting all pressure on his plate, here also all my stakeholders would wake up, they want this, what happened, whatever happened the previous week, can we have, can we get things going? And I also need to set up my own team for the further week and so on. Yeah, there's always that chaos around, but yeah, that's what makes life and that's what pushes us, right? So that's how it goes.
Okay. So when Aditya was saying about the caffeine, chaos, and calm, and all that, so it's that typical Monday where our coffee becomes our strength and courage, and the meetings is the therapy which keeps us running for the entire week, I guess. And so thanks for adding that beautifully, Aditya. Thanks for sharing that. But in all this, so much at our plates, especially in your place as a leader, we're trying to balance performance, we're trying to balance people sentiments. uh, with your experience, tell me, how do you keep this human alive while driving the numbers and the performance and all the chaos in between? How do you as a leader do that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because at my in my role, I need to balance both, right? For in the sense, the business priorities are important, but at the same time, I have um, a great responsibility towards people, and balancing both is critical. I can't veer to both of the sides. I think that's how the training which you get through the MBA and then your initial year sets you up for that. And then that's how people say, right? Like a lot of people think that HR is easy. It's about dealing with people, anybody can do it, but it's such a hard job to do. You get to see the underbelly of things. So for instance, you might say, and especially I see a lot of young people in HR faltering into it, and I say this all the time. So you would say, some leader might say, hey, we are like a family, we should be together and we should take the company forward. But the next day, there comes the pink slip and somebody is asked to go. Then what happens to all the values out there? So then a lot of people get they can't handle all of this. They can't handle the pressure. So these HR people are the people who are hiring as well, and finally are getting to fire that person along with the business. So you need to maintain that thin balance and ensure that you're threading on the right path, taking people together, understand their emotions. It could be that business is trying to ensure that the business has to move forward. At the same time, you're not cutting costs too much because if you are ending up firing a lot of people, then eventually your company will go for a toss, right? So that's the fine balance which the HR team has to pull together and ensure that the right picture is presented to the management. That's the role.
What's your say on that, Saurabh?
Well, that's how do I say? It's a difficult job. I mean, you have to be a an angel at the and the devil at the same time. It's the most difficult spot to be in. And we used to joke about it a lot. I think Aditya in our call MBA days about being into HR, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Fully agree with you. I think the MBA days and then landing up into corporate, there is a lot of learning which we bring, but there is also a real um, face of how the corporate world is. And if we look in the today's situation scenario, everybody is a leader, everybody is trying to lead, everybody is trying to even preach leadership. And so, from your experience, Aditya, tell me, according to you, if we're talking about leadership, uh, what could be that one myth about leadership that needs to be retired, especially in the Indian corporate culture?
Yeah,
Because, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's a great question, sir. Thanks for that. So typically, I've worked with a lot of nationalities. I've worked with bosses who are Indians, bosses who are expats, let's say the Middle East, and some people from the US and Europe as well. But the Indian mentality and the way we are brought up, including me, we always look up to authority to answer all our questions, and you look for all the questions from there, and you simply want to be led. And sometimes, if you see the erstwhile generation, we've been brought up in the command control kind of an environment. And the leaders are always telling that this is the way to go, this is what you should do, and the people there go down and execute. But that's not how the leadership works. The leadership is all about asking the right questions and ensuring that the answers come from the team. And most times the leader tries to drive things, especially the first time leaders. What they think is, okay, I am great, what brought me here, maybe I have come here because I put in hard work, I know about execution, or let's say somebody's strength could be collaboration, somebody's strength could be strategy. But they think that, okay, my team also needs to be there and my team has to do it in the way I want. But that's not the leader's job. The leader's job is to ensure that the diversity of the team comes through together and each team member has their own strengths. So, getting their strengths to the fore and forgetting about their weaknesses. And even if you have weaknesses, ensuring that you slowly work on it, but ensuring that the strengths come to the fore and you complete the task. So, that's the leader's job.
That's so true, Aditya, when you emphasize on that importance of questions and asking the right questions. But I feel it's also the way we are asking, the way these questions are being asked, because we become more of mentors as leaders than being a coach. And that's where asking the question the right way brings in that balance. So are we asking to get the answers, or are we asking because we want to tell the answer? That is
Okay.
the, I guess, challenge that we need to fulfill, and that fill in the gap. But if we look at the future, so much happening, world is moving at such a fast pace, and we have a tech person with us. He knows us it better than all of us. So Mithil, what do you have in mind?
So Esther, if I have to say, the flavor of the month or the flavor of the time right now is AI. And I'm sure, Aditya, you must also be having that AI wave in your not just company but especially the industry also. So being a leader and also taking care of the whole system process as well as people, what do you think? Can AI truly understand people, or the empathy will always be the human territory?
So AI is something we are here. AI is the buzzword right now. Everybody is talking about AI, and each and every organization is going full gung-ho in ensuring that it's part of systems, process, and everything we do. And it's not any different in our organization right now. Probably every day, if there is a common buzzword that we are talking about, it's AI. So, but at the end of the day, I truly believe that AI can't take out the decision making out of the human beings. Second is also anywhere where there is a people to people collaboration or people to people interaction that needs to be done. And that truly can't be taken away. Let's say now there are professors in universities who are saying that, hey, everybody knows that the students will get the case studies done out of AI, right? And professors also are saying that it's okay, use AI and come to the classroom, but at the end of the day, tell me what are your insights. That's what the profs are asking today. And earlier, like let's say um, 10 years back, only getting the information handy, like let's say you want to understand about the P&L, you want to understand previous week sales, you want to understand what's the cost which is happening. There was a huge team which was of MIS, then data analytics, churning out all those reports. And finally, let's say a CEO asks the report now, you will get it after 2 days, 3 days, or maybe a week. Now it's the fingertips. Everybody understands all the data which is there. Today, let's say in our organization, you ask about how do you improve the collection efficiency. The system itself will throw up the data stating that, okay, you need to do this, and your collection efficiency will go up. But is it as easy as it is? You need to go into the depth, understand what collection efficiency is about, and is it actually practical? Whatever AI is putting up as the answers, is it doable? Second, the decision making part, right? Once you get all the questions, who will take the right decision? What would happen in the future is those decisions can be taken faster. That would be there. And at the end of the day, collaboration, I think that's the most important part in any team, right? Let's look at all of you coming together on this platform, collaborating, and finally doing this. AI can't do this. So yeah, that's where the future holds.
I personally feel, and just imagine, what if three AIs coming together and starting a podcast? How would it feel?
With the same inflection.
It would be robotic. That's when in one of my conversations when I address leaders, I always give them an example of the Avengers, the Iron Man. I say that Tony Stark, the Iron Man's suit, it amplifies his strength. But at the core, it still needs Tony Stark. It still needs the human, and
That's
I
true.
think that's the beauty of us. So, Mithil, keep a watch as a tech. If somebody's starting AI starting, we will see that.
Totally.
In fact, then maybe let me take this platform to say it happened once.
Mhm.
As one of there were three AIs talking to each other, and they started conversing in their own language, and this happened on the server of one of the very big companies, and they had to plug it out because they started talking and they started doing something so different from what it was asked. And somewhere, if I connect the dots, Aditya, with the HR also, so with the role that we bring in people, what happens is, as the job, the industry, as well as the requirement changes, also the skills needed to kind of support it also matters the most. So keeping you as a visionary leader, what do you think the new skills will define the next generation of HR leaders? Because as the millennials comes towards 50s, now the next leaders will be the Gen Zs, and then will be the Gen Alphas. So they need to have the skills, and I'm sure uh, this is a question a lot of people would be looking forward to know about it. What's your take on that?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Mithil. So sometimes I do wonder, right? There is so many people talk about what are the jobs of the future which would go away. Would it be in coding? Would it be, let's say, you're doing surgeries as a doctor? Would that go away? What are some of the things that would go away? And I always wonder about HR as to what are the things that would uh, move away, in the sense, what are the jobs that you do? Many of the basic things which are operational. Let's say you're running a payroll, you're trying to calculate attrition of an organization, you're trying to do, let's say, the attendance, etc., which are the ops part. All of that would go away. But whoever builds that skill of empathy, being able to connect to the people, they would be at the top of the pile, right? And more when you see how the societies are moving towards, let's say you are in your bubble today. Earlier there would be so many interactions with your friends, colleagues, everybody would sit together and talk. But today, let's say most of the times, even if people are on the same floor, people prefer to connect on Teams rather than in person. And more and more, if you see that human element, human interaction is going away. And if you see a lot of Gen Zs, maybe my understanding may be wrong, but at least in my observation, I'm saying that they're more comfortable chatting on WhatsApp or any other tech tools rather than coming face to face. So that's when, if there's somebody who is able to understand the person's aspirations, the person's ambition, able to piece together, let's say, um, in HR, the most important aspect is coaching also, right? The thing that you all do. While you may you may program a chat GPT to become a coach, and I have also tried to use a gem, but it can never bring the same kind of interaction that you have with a person, because ChatGPT or any other model or a Gemini can never understand your emotions at the level that you are able to do. So I think this part, which always involves the coaching, understanding, empathy, and finally the business decisions are made on the basis of understanding a person and understanding the person's aspiration, ambition. This kind of skill will never go away.
Totally agree with you. In fact, HRs are considered as empathy partners, to be precise. However, in an organization, most people are also scared of HRs. So rather than welcoming, they are look upon like, it's better not to go into that zone where the HRs are.
True, true, true. Yeah, that's also something which people do talk about, right? In the sense, so somehow that's what people say. HR your friend in corporate, or is there somebody that you need to talk to at every step of the way? I would suggest whoever is thinking HR is your friend or not, please veer on the line of HR is not your friend. That is a better way to go about, rather than thinking that HR is your friend. As I was saying earlier, HR needs to balance both the business as well as people. So they will maintain that thin balance, walk on that line, and take any decision as how a business leader would do. But yes, HR will always have that lens of slight empathy, which is veering more towards people rather than business. But it will never be either totally towards business or totally towards people.
Got it. But then, Aditya, since you are in the HR domain, how do you see the HR's role changing in the next 5 years? Is it going towards more strategic, more digital, or a mix of both? What's your take?
See, any role, forget about HR. Let it be marketing, let it be finance, or any other role, right? Let's say, let me come to finance first. Finance was always about bookkeeping, accounting, ensuring that those ledgers are in place. But today, if you see finance is seen as a business partner who is able to understand the business, able to gauge what is the future, do fundraise, and eventually help the business, in the sense they understand each and every part of uh, every department which goes through, how the funds come through, etc., and are able to navigate through things. Similarly, now when it comes to HR as well, firstly you need to be great at your own trade. In the initial years, you need to build your muscle towards what HR is all about. Let it be recruitment, let it be training, let it be coaching, let it be leadership development, talent management. All of those things should be in place. And then finally, understand the business as to how can you partner the business in ensuring that you become more profitable. Now you may ask, how can HR make the business more profitable? It's about how do you improve the productivity of people, how do you ensure that the right talent is with you. You may build a great organization, but tomorrow your top 2 3 people who are bringing the maximum revenue for you, let's say they are moving out, then what will happen to your organization? But at the same time, if you give great benefits and great compensation to those 2 3 people, then what will happen to the other folks? Will they stay, or they say that, hey, because Mithil is doing well, let's say in the three of you, Mithil is doing well, you three are in the organization, Mithil is all AI, AI. But let's say Mithil takes all the profits away, then what would Saurabh and Esther do? So that's what.
Leave the podcast.
So that's where that's where HR comes together, understanding the implications. Because let's say I was working with you as HR, I would know what actually drives Mithil, and it may not be money. It may be that Monday morning caffeine or Sunday evening beer.
Now this podcast went somewhere else.
Bring all of us back to hangover.
Yeah, that's why you wanted it very quirky, right?
True,
The
true,
hang.
true.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. And we're asking too many very serious, important, strategic questions. But the best way I feel to get rid of that hangover and plan the next Sunday beer is to ask some fun questions. And for that, I think friend to friend, Saurabh to Aditya, we let Saurabh ask the important questions here.
Absolutely. Let's have some fun before we go to the last segment of this podcast episode. Let's have some quick answers. All right, Aditya, this is the rapid fire round now. Are you ready?
Mhm. Yeah,
All
hope
right.
so. Fingers crossed.
All right, here it comes. One corporate phrase that should be banned forever.
Banned forever. We are family.
In fact, Saurabh, one more. Where do you see yourself after 5 years?
After 5 years.
Yeah, if that's a question, yes.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely. A coffee order that sums up Aditya's leadership style.
Um, Black coffee, plain, simple, and no malaise is what I would say.
I
No,
couldn't
Malai.
agree more because
And
the
little
amount
hot.
of time I've known Aditya. Right. Okay. A piece of advice which you ignored in your early career stages, but you wish you could have taken it seriously.
Yeah. So in my initial first 6 months of career, I got an advice that don't stay in your hometown, move away from your hometown, and that's where you would grow as an individual. And then I would ask why. I am happy in my hometown and I'm doing whatever is there. I'm performing great. Why do you want me to move from the hometown? Then I never understood it seriously, and I said no. I will stay in Hyderabad, and I was there in my comfortable cocoon for 4.5 years. Not to say that I've not learned anything, but yeah, I think the my career went through a steep trajectory once I moved out of my comfort zone, because that's where you
Mhm.
understand what else comes to your plate. There are a lot
Right.
of things that you need to take care of your own, and that's where I truly became a individual who is able to understand, empathize more. So I would take that very seriously. Now, if I was, maybe my career trajectory would be far more ahead if I had started 4 years back, early, moving
Yes.
out of my hometown.
So it's absolutely apt to say that it should you should always be uncomfortable to be comfortable.
Sure, totally.
Yeah. One last question. Monday survival in one word.
Monday survival is all about
One
coffee. I
survival.
can't think about anything else. Monday survival.
Without the Malai.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, fantastic. That was fun. So now I would now hand it over to my friend Mithil to take us to the last part of the segment of this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. And yeah, Esther, did you notice Saurabh was also kind of a writer, creative person today. He brought that flavor of using different words in a different style and with an accent.
With an accent.
I
Becoming
was waiting.
uncomfortable to be
I was
comfortable.
waiting when that would come out. I was just waiting when that would come out.
Lovely. So, Aditya, what's your Monday mantra? A thought or a quote that you always keep yourself grounded as a leader. What do you say to yourself? What's your mantra?
So my mantra, Mithil, would be that to keep yourself grounded. It's easy once you reach a certain level to think that hey, you know it all, and your ego gets massaged. Where people say that hey, you've done that in life, and nobody can beat you. I think you're the greatest, and you would hear from all the quarters, right? But then you always need to understand and you need to know that you're here because a lot of sacrifices were done by various people. It could be your parents, it could be the friends that who have made you who you are, it could be your colleagues who have shaped you, your mentors, your leaders. And when you when you don't think that way, you go onto a path which is treaded with danger. So my mantra would always be to keep yourself grounded and be humble.
Lovely. I think that's why Saurabh, Esther, he said that the Monday survival tip is to have coffee, caffeine. I'm sure he keeps himself grounded with grounded coffee.
Grounded tea.
High on coffee instead of high on the blues.
Yes.
Cool. One thing that I have seen, Aditya, is when we go to sci-fi movies and also even rom-com movies, many a times people speak about time travel. What if your younger self time traveled and came to you right now and just shadowed you for the whole week? What do you think he would have identified or learned something about you that could have surprised him? Let's go to the wildest part,
Wildest. Oh my god, the quirky part.
the quirky part. If we had to
Hmm.
change the HR head and
Hmm.
we go into a fun mode,
Hmm. Hmm.
then
Hmm.
what would be that the younger self will identify that, oh, I never did that in the younger part or the younger stage, but now I'm doing it.
Yeah. So then I would say that see now I think I have something which I made a promise, which is that at the drop of the hat, I should be able to take a vacation. And my younger self would never be able to identify with that because I was always worried about the future, what would happen, in the sense that I was always somebody who would fight. I was that person, that nerdy kid who would fight with the teacher for 1 mark, right? That person I was when I was in school. But then slowly I realized that that's not what life is all about. My younger self would never understand this part, that hey, after how can somebody be and do what they are, even with taking all these vacations in life and so on. I make it a point that every 6 months I at least take a 15-20 day off, which not a lot of people do. Yeah, so I think that's something which my younger self would not understand now.
And all the people in your organization who will be listening right now will be very happy. Oh, if Aditya is taking this many off in 6 months, I am also entitled to take it.
This is going to be played only this section in repeat.
Again and again.
You can have a reel out of this section.
But I think
Mhm.
Aditya's answer of this last question relates to one of the rapid fire questions which was asked, where he answered being grounded.
Mhm.
And I feel that's what life experience as a human gives us, which the machines don't have. That gives us an edge, is what I feel.
Totally. Yeah.
So when it comes to coffee, there is one more thing which goes with the coffee, and I'm sure all three of you agree, and that's a sandwich. And when it comes to a sandwich, this is a lingo used in corporates for one section of people. Can anyone guess who they are?
Ah,
The middle managers. They are the
Mm.
sandwich between the bosses and the teams.
True.
So, Aditya, one message you would like to, you would like every middle manager or an aspiring leader to remember from our conversation that we had. What you think? I listen to this. This is something could have helped you. Apart from taking vacations, what else you think that people should remember?
True. So some bit of it I had already spoken about. Firstly, I think where middle managers fail is that you receive your first promotion or you get to that middle part when you're already great in your job and doing your job well, and the great performers naturally gravitate towards the middle manager. Then you think that okay, what got me here will keep me where I am, and I should keep doing what I am doing. But you should always remember that what gets you here won't take you there, and understand that hey, you should brush up on your leadership skills, build your empathy, and you should ensure that the strengths of your team come to the fore. Listen to your team, which not a lot of people do, and ensure that also your team is highlighted and focused upon. In a sense, you don't want to take all the limelight to yourself. If you do that, there are two issues that would come together. First is your team would think that hey, this person is taking all the credit for what I have done. Second is you will be always doing what you're doing throughout your life, because once you get your people to your pedestal or your position, only that's when you can move up to the top. And not a lot of people realize that. The faster you realize that, the faster you will grow. That would be my advice.
I think that was a mic drop thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, Aditya, there was one thing that I wanted to share. Since, first of all, thank you that you accepted to be the very first guest of our talk show, and
My
this
pleasure.
whole process started 3 months back when me and Saurabh were traveling to Pune, and Esther, we met for the first time in the cafe, the Rani Cafe, and we three were just kind of scratching head and saying we want to kind of have a kind of a brainstorm, and let's collaborate onto something. We have the ability to speak, we have the ability to network, and we can, if we have the power, because as Spider-Man always says, with great powers comes great responsibility. So we thought, let's be responsible to bring it out, so that through our networks and connections who are at good leadership level, and if through them we are able to help a larger audience, I think that can serve a lot of purpose. And that's when the ideation started 3 months back. And today is the day when I can really say that we manifested it. So if we all put our actions in the right directions and ignore the chaos, I think it is achievable. And Aditya, you are the very first one, as we can say, the product of that collaboration. So thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for inviting me. And great, you guys have done a great job manifesting that idea and bringing it to fruition.
Super.
And
You're
we
welcome.
loved
Over
putting
to
you in
you.
the spot too, Aditya. A little bit.
Yeah.
No, you did put me in a spot. Yes.
But thank you so much for having joining us and also being so candid about sharing. Uh, you know, uh, because the level at which you're working, the seniority at which you're working, sometimes um, people are very unsure of what to say, how much to be honest. But you were candid, good. So thank you so much. And Saurabh, thank you for getting Aditya for us here.
Thank you, Aditya, for coming down, taking your time out.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Mithil.
Thank you so
Awesome. Thank you.
much. And one important thing, tell us how your Monday has been. Optimistic or just functional? If functional, you got to listen to us and Aditya. Thank you.
By the way, who's the next guest who's gonna come? And Why am I saying that is because when you listen to the Monday hangovers, it's not just that you only survive through caffeine. We want to add that flavor of also surviving with the Monday hangover show. So caffeine and Monday hangover show with the flavors of all the guests who are gonna come. I think that's gonna be deadly. What do you guys say? Aditya, what's your thought? Because the way we went to the whole conversation, you have lived up to it. So what do you say about it?
No, it was a fun conversation, and most of the podcasts or most of the similar pedestal or similar interviews which were done in the past, there was a list of questions which came to me earlier, and I was expecting Saurabh to at least share the thought process or anything, but you guys have truly lived up to it. The Monday hangover or the quirkiness, not even sharing what kind of format you're having. And that's why also I guess I was open, and all the thoughts came together without any preemptiveness. I'm sure as you guys get going, I'm sure the quality and the kind of guests that would be coming to your show will be a notch higher, and I'm sure this will reach greater heights. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much,
much. Thank
Aditya.
you,
Thank
Aditya.
you, Aditya.
So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to the Monday Hangover Show. So every Monday we drop a new episode. So do subscribe, save, and share it with your fellow colleague, friend who is going through a Monday crisis. So this is Mithil, Esther, Saurabh, along with Aditya signing off, reminding you that Mondays can also be legendary, but with the right hangover. Thank you.